What's this? What's this? Looks like something that you'd wear. What's this? Stick around after if you dare. Make no mistake, Coraline can be super creepy and super cute. I covered both the movie and the book on this channel pretty in depth, going over how this or that could have been creepier. But today, or night, you brave souls, I want to uncover the mysterious and potentially nefarious motivations of the most slippery, whispery, elusive, and beguiling creatures in the other world. Rats, man. How the rats in Coraline are more than they seem and hint at something more dangerous. The movie uses mice most of the time until the cat reveals the truth. In the book, we know that the other mother uses rats as her spies and eyes into the real world from the very outset. They can traverse the corridor with ease, snatch the key from the real house when the door is unlocked, that is, and perform the most creepy of whispery chants. Now, these chants are what I want to dive into more in depth. The first chant Coraline barely hears as she slips off to sleep on her first night after opening, but not going through, the other door. Remember, it's not locked and the rats are able to slip through the corridor. This chant is after Coraline hears a creak in the night and goes down to investigate, finds the door ajar, shuts it, it's still unlocked though, and goes back to bed to fall asleep, where she dreamed of black shapes that slid from place to place, avoiding the light, until they all gathered together under the moon. Little black shapes with little red eyes and sharp yellow teeth. They started to sing, "We are small, but we are many. We are many and we are small. We were here before you rose. We will be here when you fall." Their voices were high and whispering and slightly whiny. They made Coraline feel uncomfortable. Now, it could be said that this rat chant is a warning to Coraline about pursuing the other door further. But why would they warn her? Don't they want her there? She has not yet gone through it in the book, so the rats could be marking her on behalf of their mistress, the other mother. It's a creepy chant to be sure, but after a bajillion rereads, I'm not entirely sold on the target of it being Coraline. The line, "We were here before you rose." That sounds like someone or thing rising to power, not just being born or moving into a new house or waking up in the morning. And these rats are stating that, while they may be small, they are a very threatening many, who will outlast whoever or whatever rose by saying, "We will be here when you fall." Again, that seems almost too epic of words to use regarding a small little child, even if she is pretty fearless. So let's gather some more information on these little rascals. The next time they chant, Coraline has just entered the other world for the first time, just met her other parents, and had a delicious meal. Other mothers suggest that she go to her weird other bedroom of off-putting green and peculiar pink to play with the rats from upstairs. Coraline looks under the bed, sees a rat, and tries to converse with it, but it turns out it can't talk, but it does smile unpleasantly at her before joining a larger circle of rats. Then they began to climb on top of each other carefully but swiftly until they had formed a pyramid with the largest rat at the top. The rats began to sing in high, whispery voices. "We have teeth and we have tails. We have tails and we have eyes. We were here before you fell. You will be here when we rise." It wasn't a pretty song. Coraline was sure she'd heard it before, or something like it, although she was unable to remember exactly where. Then the pyramid falls apart and the other crazy old man from upstairs holds out his hands and absorbs the rats into his clothing and asks Coraline if she wants to watch the rats feed in the attic. She declines because she senses some major creepy, and the rats start to whisper to each other after being rejected. Needless to say, Coraline gets very bad vibes from that. Alrighty, so these rats are unable to talk to Coraline when she tries talking to them, but they are able to creepily whisper to each other and do their creepy rat chants without issue. Maybe because there's a soul powering their collective being hive mind, but alone they can't respond to an outsider? Now back to picking apart the quote. More threats about the many, many teeth they have between them and the many, many eyes that have seen many, many things, and of course, tails, which could either be like in the sense of I have seen so much, have I got some stories and tales for you, or it could just be the sheer number of literal rat tails between them. What, they could form some colossal rat king type of being. We were here before you fell. They could definitely be hinting at Coraline's almost certain demise. In their eyes, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And the fact that they will now rise to power and Coraline's little husk will remain here in the other world as they do. Are they the ones that feed on the children? That would make the "watch the rats feed" request more dire. Maybe they share with the other mother. But here's the thing, I don't think that little Coraline would warrant that much malice. I think that someone or something that has perpetually used the rats as eyes, spies, and ears, someone or something that is also desperate to escape or assume a larger place in the world, someone or something that uses the many rats to their advantage but doesn't offer any real share in the benefits would warrant this much malice. Someone or something like the other mother. Or going beyond even her, the rats could be referring to the colossal ancient being that we've talked about before. They could have been here before it fell asleep or died. And they think they will be the masters once that beast rises again or awakens, reincarnates. If you don't know what I'm talking about specifically here, do I have a video for you to watch after this one? Which brings us to the last chant. Coraline has already found the first soul in the toy box, wrestled the second soul from the decaying other actresses, barely escaped her near-death encounter with the doughy other father, and is about to enter the other upstairs flat to find the final soul. She knocks on the green door, which swings open, and she walks in. We have eyes and we have nervesies. We have tails and we have teeth. You'll all get what you deservesies when we rise from underneath. Whispered a dozen or more tiny voices. Red eyes stared at her. Little pink face scurried away as she came close. Darker shadows slipped through the shadows at the edges of things. Amid even more thinly veiled physical threats of sheer numbers, you'll all get what you deservesies. Okay, that definitely sounds like more than one target, or targeting the entire real world. There is certainly a grudge here. When we rise from underneath, seems to me like an underdog situation here. Disgruntled hench rats on the rise to overthrow their master? It appears through most of the book that the other mother is their master, but some things don't seem to line up. The rats are not her constructs, I think. For one thing, they don't have button eyes, but also, when the other world is falling apart, the other father is a blobby mess, other Spink and Porcheville are gooey blobs, and the other theater dogs are sweating dough with wings, the rats remain rats. They stay whole even as the other mother loses some control over the other realm. In the movie, I think that they are sand-filled puppets making them constructs there. This is not so in the book. They do bleed real blood, as is evidenced when the cat takes care of the largest rat trying to run with the soul. The other crazy old man from upstairs has button eyes and may be a construct, but the rats themselves do not. So maybe the book other mother didn't make them, but until something better comes along or until they have the strength to rise on their own, the rats will remain loyal to her. It seems like that time is almost nigh, though. The rats are very clearly intelligent. On this last creepy visit to the attic, the other crazy old man from upstairs, who is made of rats, has an in-depth, chilling conversation with Coraline. Although that could just be because the soul the rats have possession of is being influenced by the other mother's wishes. But here's the thing, where the blobby actress creation could barely move to fight Coraline for the soul powering it. The rats first try the power of persuasion to try to convince Coraline to stay, and failing that, do everything they can to ferry the soul out of her reach and away to safety. This tells me that they are sentient in a similar way to how the other mother is, and not like her other creations. They desperately try to cling to the soul, but if it's really for the other mother's best interest is unclear. I think that their hive mind is tied to its power, and that they are also trying to escape the other world as the other mother is. Oh yeah, recap video here. Either with her or in spite of her. Or else they could be trying to assume a terrifying form to make sure you'll all get what you deservesies when we rise from underneath. Visuals that fill my mind are a colossal rat king able to traverse or defeat the corridor, and a Stranger Things rat-type construct. Ew. Makes sense with all those tails and teeth and eyes that tries to take over the real world after it escapes. Wait a minute. Maybe the other realm is akin to the Upside Down. What? If the rats gain this much power, I am unconvinced that they will still be loyal to the other mother. And because I have certain thoughts about the nature of the other corridor, my gut says that they will overtake more than just the other mother and the other world. They have clearly been plotting this uprising with their hive-type mind for what could be centuries, given the span of time periods that the other child victims hail from. Were the rats here before the more ancient entities were? Or before the more ancient entities started to awaken before they rose? Are the rats all possessed by the same legion-type demon, and that's what's driving them? For they are many, and they seem to have a grudge. So my thoughts are, if the rats have their own mind and are just playing along with the other mother until they can rise, what else in the other world is independently sentient and can potentially threaten the other mother and even different worlds. If the rats are a parasite and tool to the other mother, and the other mother is a parasite or tool to a greater entity, how much deeper does this go? If the rats are possessed, just what is possessing them and what are its goals? All of these questions speak to something greater at play, maybe even something Lovecraftian yet again. So that's my decoding of the many rat chants in Coraline, but what are some of your thoughts? Are the rats taking the other mother for a ride, biding their time? Will they be successful in their uprising? Let me know in the comments below. Speaking of rats, hey, special announcement time! Some of you might have caught some hints about this over the past months, but I've been working on getting out some merch thingies for y'all, and this is the first batch. Thanks to those who voted on the community post, I definitely got you. You've got your Ratsmen and your Happily Ever Nope shirts. I even gave them cute as button eyes because they are my constructs. Be your spooky self all year round with a bit of a spooky shirt. Like faces? Have a face! Have even more and more faces! Oh, also get stuck on this spiderweb ordeal in 2 forms. Most designs, except for our spider friend, come in all 3 colors so you can go nuts. These were super fun to make and I hope you like them. I've kind of been living in this comfy hoodie for, well, a bit too long probably. It has a great snack pouch, what do you want? I put a link in the description and also have this nifty new shelf thingy. This stuff is a fun way to support the channel if you can, and if that's your jam, but really, I hope you like the new outfit I made you. Love, Mother, abitfrank. Hey friends, thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed it, scuttling creatures and all. Do keep your eyes peeled for the next animated adventure here in a bit, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Goodbye!